Hey folks, Baxel here. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most important things you can do to improve your gameplay. Hopefully give you a framework that helps you maintain improvements in an easy and actionable way. First, you're going to have to identify your purpose for VOD reviewing. A coach can help with this, but it's important that that's not your first port of call. If you watch your own gameplay honestly and critically, you should be able to identify areas of improvement. And most importantly, you can revisit these areas in the future to sort of measure your improvements across the period of time. Failure to do this can lead to sloppy, unproductive reviews. So don't feel pressure in saying things like, I need to play safe or I need to push my lead. If we make our goals simple and highlight key areas, we can make sure that what we're focusing on is actually measurable and it's something you're able to improve on. It might be good advice to say play safe to somebody. Realistically, it's hard to make notes without context. So if you say something like, when I have a lead, I see myself not invading the enemy jungle and playing it safe. I need to start recognizing when I've got an ultimate advantage or a soul lead, and then you can give yourself those sorts of clear ideas of what you can and can't do to help improve your gameplay. Sometimes articulating that is really challenging, so we'll touch on going over other people's reviews as a way to help yourself improve in a little bit later on. Just bear that in mind for now. Not every game is review worthy. As a rule of thumb, about 1/3 of your games are going to be an auto loss, 1/3 are going to be an auto win, and about 1/3 are in your control. So although any match can be review worthy, it's important to look out for games where you didn't feel like you got stomped or you stomped them. You felt like you made mistakes, but you're unsure of like what went wrong, for example. These sorts of things can really help make sure that the games you are picking to review are worth your time and give you the most info about sort of how you're playing and where your improvements can lie. Personally, I think the ratio of games you should be reviewing from pros, high elo players should be adjusted based on your current level of skill. Now, I'm confident I'll receive some kickback as a result of my assessment here, but when it comes to the elo brackets, just know that they will change over time. I've been as unbiased as I can with my assessment, and my personal feelings on where low, mid and high elo are actually much harsher than what's on screen right now. Now with that all being said, it's important to review yourself regularly, and I'd probably recommend about 10 to 20% of your time on reviews. So if you're playing 8 to 10 games a week, for example, then you should maybe play 8 games and review 1 game, this sort of thing. That's not a perfect science, but generally speaking, if you're newer to the game, reviewing can be more and more beneficial. And if you're in a lower elo bracket, reviewing can be more beneficial. At some point though, especially when you start hitting like Eternus 2 and 3 and 4, playing more is the only way to improve, because at the end of the day, every single person in Eternus 5 has played countless hours at this game, and that is a big component of improving to hit like Eternus 6, for example. If you're low elo, you're not going to get as much benefit out of a top 100 player. When you're lower in elo, you're not going to gain the same benefit from watching a high elo player play as compared to somebody who's, for example, in top 100. If you're top 100 and you're watching the rank 1 player for the hero that you main, you're going to be able to pick up on a lot more details as your level of skill is closer. So typically what I recommend when we're talking about these ratios is that you aim to go for about 1/3 of your reviews should be on your own gameplay as you approach this higher level of skill. And when you get to the top, at some point, the only way to benefit from reviewing your own gameplay is reviewing it with a coach. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule, and like I say, you're going to get a lot of benefit from just reviewing your own stuff, but finding a balance, like as what's shown on screen, should be beneficial. So to find our high elo replays, we're going to go to Stat Locker, we're going to go to the leaderboards section and the Valve Hero leaderboards. We're going to select the hero that we want to review, so in this case we'll use Billy, and we're going to click on number 1, Obi-Kim, as we all know that they're a professional player and they're very high elo. And following from there, you can select the filter section to exclusively look at one hero that they've been playing recently, and that can help you find their matches if they play lots of different heroes. I'm going to select the most recent game here, and I'm going to copy the match ID. Now from here, I'm going to go into Deadlock. I'm going to walk to this watch section, top right, click that search by match ID, paste in the match ID, and there we go. There's the replay that we can download and watch. Just as a quick side note, as we're talking about reviewing the top players, this player on screen here, as you can see by their rank on Stat Locker, they're not actually good at the game. They're considered top 10 on the Valve leaderboard, but that's because they get boosted by cheaters regularly, and their actual gameplay is not worth paying any attention to. Whilst we're watching replays from other players, it's important that we understand that some things they do are going to be playstyle differences, and some things are going to be testing stuff out. So what I mean by this is, for example, when an item gets buffed or nerfed, you'll see them using it maybe in 1 or 2 games. They may think to themselves, this was good, this was bad, and you'll see a reflection in that in their future games and how they itemize, these sorts of things. So when you're reviewing somebody, I'd recommend at least watching 3 videos from one player on one hero. Now, I'm not saying to watch all of these in one go, but just having that consistent exposure to how a player plays can really help you much better than sort of cherry picking here and there and watching the odd one. So for my example, currently I'm trying to learn Infernus, and Sanya is regularly at the very, very top of the leaderboards. Currently Sanya Sniper is rank 1 in EU, and they are still playing Infernus regularly. So I'm watching lots of Sanya VODs on Infernus, and I'm trying to internalize and understand the key elements of their playstyle that is helping them succeed. So when we're assessing these key elements of a player and their playstyle and how it leads them to success, it can be simple things or it can be complex things. As when we're reviewing our own gameplay, it's important that we make our goals simple. If we keep our goals to simple measurable things, for example, like he always shows up on the side of the map where Urn's about to spawn, then we're going to be able to ensure that we can keep that mental note whilst we're playing and try and put it into practice. Now, avoid bad habits like, oh, he just plays better, he just wins the fights, because this sort of reviewing isn't helpful for anybody, and at best it's going to make you fall out of love with the game. When we're looking at gameplay, don't get bogged down with this level of skill. These are the best players in the world that you'll be looking at. It's perfectly normal to have those feelings. I appreciate some people this advice won't matter for, but for those who do, just keep that in mind, that it's okay. They've probably got way more hours in the game than you, and as you improve, you'll get closer and closer to how they play. I appreciate this video doesn't have many cold hard examples of what to do, but if you take this advice to heart and focus on the core ideas I've discussed today, I appreciate this video doesn't have many cold hard examples, but I really believe if you take the advice to heart, you'll never have to watch another educational YouTube video on Deadlock if you don't want to. You can be confident in how to learn and how to improve your gameplay so long as you critically assess what you're doing, you learn and understand how high skill players play the same heroes, and you use achievable goals in your future matches to give you direction and guide how you improve your gameplay. Thanks for watching. It's a new video format, so if you have any thoughts, leave a comment down below. And as always, have a nice day.